Look like you just finished looking or something.
Me too.
Go ahead.
Oh, that's good. You getting Alfie back tonight?
Yes, he's good to go.
That's good. What about your other guys? Do they have a chance for Wednesday?
Which ones?
Well, I guess I don't know which order to go. Fred, Cam, and Tari.
Cam, yes, possibly. Ankle's still swollen, but targeting Wednesday. Fred, most likely not. And then who else you said? Tari?
Tari.
No, probably not as well.
Did Tari suffer any sort of a setback?
No, he just had some lingering pain still when the ramp up happened, so not a setback per se, but the amount of pain he's still under. When we ramped up the 5-on-5 sessions, it's still there, still feeling it a little bit, so decided to reevaluate after All-Star break.
Coach, what are some of the issues that Jalen Brunson presents on the defensive end of the ball, defensive side of the ball? Excuse me.
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously taken big steps over the last few years. He's become one of the best scoring point guards in the league, and he's very crafty, high IQ, mentally tough. He has an edge to him, so all the things you look for in a leader on your team, he brings that to the table, and with other guys out, he's even more aggressive, and so expect his best. A lot of teams are going after him, so he's seen pretty much all the coverages this year at times, and just kind of played through that, so well deserving of all the accolades he's getting right now.
Can you talk a little bit about what you've been missing with Fred being out of line? Of course, he's not one of the more flashier players in the league, but can you just talk about what he brings outside of just the box score that a lot of people may just pay attention to?
I didn't hear who you said.
Fred VanVleet.
Oh yes, of course. Some of the same things I mentioned about Brunson. Leadership is a key with our young guys. I think he's everything and more we thought he would be as far as that. But just makes the right play over and over, and that consistency has been big for us. So fix his spots when to score, get others involved. I think others are realizing how easy they have it at times with him being out on the court and not being there now. So yeah, he's been the leader for us this year. One of our most important pieces, obviously, at the point guard spot. But he's even had a chance to grow and grow into a role of a more dominant handler and some of the shared duties that he had in Toronto. He's getting a lot more looks and touches here, and so it's been very key for us. And then he sets the tone with Dylan on the defensive side, so he has that same edge and toughness and professionalism and everything we're looking for from veteran guys.
Jermaine Samuels Jr. obviously hasn't got much playing time here, but he is going to be part of the NBA activities this weekend. Talk about his growth as a player so far this season.
Yeah, he's been good. He's been, really dominant in Rio Grande. Versatile guy that, obviously we had him in summer league and training camp, and guy that checks a lot of boxes and kind of play anywhere from that 3 to 5 position, dirty work guy. Guy you don't need to call a lot of plays for, but seems to get it always done. And so guys like him are valuable. In a pinch, if we needed to, we feel comfortable putting him in. So the stats, the numbers, and things he's done in Rio Grande have obviously stood out, and well deserving of his trip to Indianapolis as well. So we monitor all of our guys that are playing there 2 ways, and when we send guys down. But he's been a consistent, kind of a constant, whether Cam is there, or whoever it may be. He's been very consistent as far as what he's doing. So guy we're happy with his growth. Same as I would say Nate and G. Nathan when they play as well.
We won't get a chance to chat with you, at least here at home, after tonight before the All-Star break. So as we get closer to that weekend, how would you kind of evaluate where this team is at right now, growth-wise, and also too just competing right now for a potential play-in spot, as we get later down to the
Yeah, the biggest thing with us has been consistency across the board. I think the road record's not been where we want it to be, but we wanted to set somewhat of a standard of competitiveness and effort and those things, and I think we hit those pretty early on. Have some games we let get away, no doubt, and I think our record could be different as far as that. But young guys have taken some steps at times up and down. And consistency is the biggest thing, like I mentioned, and whether it's Jalen, Jabari, Alpi, and then the other guys who've kind of been in and out with injuries, the other 3, just want to see continued progress. And so, you look at the last 30 or so games coming out of All-Star break, there's another barometer and a chance to really grow. I think we got off to a really good start. Had some plateaued a little bit there and had some slippage at times with the lack of practice or injuries and guys in and out. But we want to continue to see them grow and progress in the right way toward the end of the season.
Coach, I know Jeff sets an example on the court. What kind of example does he set off the court as far as how to take care of his body, nutrition, working out, and just kind of the intangibles?
Yeah, I would say Jeff and really Dylan and Fred are all in the same bucket as far as that. Jeff a little older, so it's more valuable to the diet, they take the day-to-day professionalism, everything he does, and so he's flying around at 37. Obviously, that's rare for a guy at his age, but he hasn't really lost a ton of his athleticism or step as far as that. But yeah, that's what we brought them here for, is to not only be vocal and leadership on the court, it's a day-to-day professionalism, how they go around their routine, take care of themselves, and all the wisdom that they can impart on our young guys. And so I think all three of that. Dylan is diligent with his body day to day. He's one of the first guys in here, and Fred has this whole team that he works with, diet, rehab, recovery, and all those things. And so I think all those three guys have set a great example for our young guys this year.
Coach, at the trade, leading up to the trade deadline, I know that you all got a lot of calls to, look to see if some of your younger players were available to be traded. How important was it to make sure that you kept that young core and that young group together?
Yeah, it was. I mean, it's such a short, sample size. 50 games you look at, but we don't just look at this year with myself coming on board. I think you look at the totality of 2 and 3 years with those guys, and kind of what they've gone through and up and down, and the progress they've made this year. And so I didn't just look at the 50 games that we have them and try to make a rash decision. We have a young core of really 6 talented players, 6 first-round picks over the last 3 years that we want to see who they are with a full year under my belt, and then. As far as those guys, I think everybody's going to check in when you have this amount of young talent, and they know we're trying to win, and we're in that that development winning stage at the same time. And so people checked in. We knew they would. They're talented young guys, and we have some duplicated positions there. But we want to see how they fare after a whole year under the belt. And so I think guys are taking steps here and there. Some have had their progress halted with injuries and those things, but we like what we're seeing from everybody and want to see where we are going forward as a whole unit.
Does it also send a message? Does it also send a message to your young core who is still learning the business side of the NBA?
Yeah, and like I said, we're not making quick decisions. We're looking at the long term more so than anything, and so we have that many young talented players. You want to see what they become and not rush to judgment on things. And so I always talk about the habits that they've built for good or bad over the last few years, and we want to break some of those. And so it's not going to happen overnight in half a season. And so we're still working on that with guys, and consistency, like I said, across the board is the most important thing.
You talked about consistency, and you talked about that a lot this season. What do you do? What kinds of steps can be taken to make improvement in that area? Because that seems to be one of the key things in the growth process.
Yeah, I think the experience is one of the biggest pieces as far as that, getting on the court and with guys being in and out, Jalen missing time, and I'm in now getting a bigger chance with Fred out. I think experience is the biggest thing as far as that, but you have to show progress and show some carryover from game to game and not make the same mistakes. And so for our guys, it's a bunch of one-on-one sessions, obviously the film sessions with the team, but they need to get up to speed to where some of our veterans are, and so it's a lot more individual work with those guys. And so you want to see everybody learns at their own speed and learns a little bit differently, but you want to see who catches on and can move on to the next play, next game, next quarter, whatever it may be, and not make the same mistakes. And so that's the thing we said, from day one, is that youth is not an excuse with our guys, and they got to be able to have carryover from game to game. And when you're 50 games in, you want to see some real improvement in the last 30 or so games.
I know you say you didn't obviously want to make a rash decision, but also know you're a competitor too. Is that an easy thing to do as far as just like, all right, cool, like just keeping that patience, or how would you kind of say it?
Yeah, I mean, you do have to be patient with it and understand where we're at and understand what has happened before. And so, for me, it's you understand we're in that balance, like I said, of developing our young guys, but also trying to be competitive. I think that's one of the biggest parts, is showing them what winning basketball is, and also not handing anything out. And so I think you've seen that across the board. Guys that play well are going to play, and that's the biggest teacher for a lot of these guys, that one-on-one experience. And so, I can talk about, we'd like to be better record-wise and some of the things in games that we let slip away, but understanding the patient side of it as well. And we're a very young team. We have some veterans out there that are kind of leading the way, but these guys got to take growth. And I've said it from day one that the biggest step is going to come, from in-house with our young guys growing up. And I think guys have taken the right step this year so far.